I was in class at the Icelandic Art Academy and I was really bored, and I think I opened Photoshop and just made a sketch using this diagram, which is actually like a representation of two mathematical numbers, like a ratio, which is inherently musical because all musical intervals are based on ratios. And that kind of became the form that I wanted it to be. And it didn't really matter to me how I would figure it out, but it just had to be this for some odd reason. It is handmade. It's 100% handmade, hand soldered, all the analog circuitry on the inside. I think it's a good example of something that's born out of experimentation. So the instrument is completely acoustic, even though it is an electronic instrument. And it has strings on the inside, hidden, kind of laid out like this, with a pair of electromagnets on each string that creates a feedback loop through the strings. And you can turn on and off the feedback through each individual string by either touching this keyboard that's engraved into the front plate, or you can control it electronically with a computer. You never really know what the strings decide to do, whether they want to vibrate at their fundamental frequency or the next harmonic above, all the way through the harmonic series. So depending on what you play, you kind of, with a chord, you create an ecosystem where the strings will kind of do different things depending on whether you're doing something very clustered or dissonant or something that's very consonant. You will get different tones out of each string. I want it to kind of have gravity when it's in a room, and I want it to feel almost as if it's looking at you when you're with it in a room. It's almost like a monolith, and it has like a presence, and it's mysterious. It doesn't say anything. And the only way you can kind of explore it is by approaching it and interacting with it and seeing what happens. It really doesn't become a thing until you figured out what it wants to be. I think it's important to be in touch with the material that you're working with when you make an object like this, in order to make the players who approach it interact with it on a deeper level. I feel like the way you create it and the way you construct it has to be kind of similarly tactile and intimate. You have to make choices as you carve the wood. And there's something about, like, yes, you can make things happen with technology, and that can be very profound. But when you hit a sweet spot, especially musically, and something starts working the way you really want it to, it almost is as if the instrument kind of becomes more than just the sum of its parts. It has like this extra quality, almost like a person or like a spirit that, you know, has been born. I guess as an electronic musician, being able to actuate something that is physical is enormously important. And, you know, sometimes you feel kind of confined on a laptop or with synthesizers because there's always an electrical signal that needs to be sent to a speaker that's elsewhere, away from the instrument and away from the thing that you're interacting with. So it's kind of like this embodied, and being able to control a physical object electronically, whether by playing like the keyboard or controlling it with your computer, I feel opens up new possibilities in the way you kind of interact with spaces and listening, and actuating the world around you with electrical signals is for me like the most obvious next step in the evolution of electronic instruments. The first harp that I kind of sent away was with Björk for her cornucopia project. It's really nice to hear another musician integrate this instrument into their music.
The magnetic harp is fascinating, and I really love how it resonates when you play it, and you can feel it in your body and in your ears and everywhere. It's almost like playing a massive grand piano. You get something completely different, both for yourself as a performer, because most of us on stage have done hundreds of thousands of shows, and it's always fun to have something new to play with, and it gives you that energy, and it gives you a new sound, and it gives the audience something.
I imagine, again, not having studied very much, that there are symbolic meanings to the design, the visual design on it. being someone that doesn't automatically know what it means, I like it because it's as if you land in another society and you see hieroglyphs or language, and all you feel is that intuitively these symbols mean something very serious to someone. And so then it gives you a feeling of respect or curiosity. And both respect and curiosity are beautiful adjectives to think about if you're going to play music.